everyone. Back again for another week of weekly installment of the grocery haul. So we are in the thick of the summer right now. And with that, we want to have something kind of a little more summery. So we're going to go ahead and have strawberry and goat cheese salad. So our protein for this week is going to be chicken breast. I got 4.5 pounds right here. I'm going to season it in just Meat Church Blanco seasoning. This is great seasoning. It's all around seasoning. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It'll be good for just, seasoning up dry rub wise. The dressing that we're going to have is a honey mustard vinaigrette. So we're going to have some balsamic vinegar. We're going to have honey mustard. We'll go ahead and mince up some garlic, and there will be some other seasonings in there. I'll go ahead and drop it in right here here in just a second so you can kind of inspect the honey mustard vinaigrette specifically. It's going to be kind of just a good tangy honey mustard based type of taste to it. It is great to go with this whole ensemble of a dish. And again, we're having these all week. It's going to be lunch. We're getting that 4.5 pounds of chicken breast because it's going to end up reducing down a little bit. Our goal is always to have about 6 ounces of protein for myself, 4 ounces of protein for Libby, in total 10 ounces. So over the course of the week, we want about 50 ounces. And again, it'll reduce down. We might have a little bit left over, but that's okay. We'll end up throwing it in the freezer, and we'll end up having it as an added part toward our dinner or our lunch the following week. We always find that we end up off just a tad on our protein. And so we end up having a little bit of a surplus some weeks, and we have a little bit of a deficit some weeks. And that's where we make up for it, having this protein ending up in the freezer a little bit. And also, if we want just kind of a later in the evening snack, or we want a little bit extra with our lunch because we felt like it wasn't enough, we'll go ahead and just pop a little bit of that out, throw in the microwave, and we'll have that. So that's the main part of the protein. That's the dressing. As far as building the actual salad, we're going to have some baby spinach and some baby kale, along with just some baby arugula. So all these combined, we're not going to make an overly huge lettucey or leafy green salad. It is going to be the base, but it's by no means a huge amount of leafy greens. But again, it's baby arugula and baby spinach and baby kale. So it'll be good. We'll have obviously strawberries in there. We bought 3 pounds of strawberries. We typically have strawberries with our dinner, but this week we're going to be really emphasizing the strawberries with lunch. So we may not end up having any of the fruit, a strawberry fruit specifically for dinner, just mainly for lunch. And again, we bought 3 pounds. I'm not really sure if that's going to be enough or too much. I think the recipe calls for a specific amount, but we're really going to kind of eyeball it. Again, this salad is more about the different ingredients rather than being dominated by the leafy greens. So it may end up being about 4 or 5 per bowl, but we may end up having a little bit more. I'm not really sure. I'll kind of let you know. So along with that, we'll end up having a little bit of dried cranberries. This specifically is Field Day, and they're organic. Can't really tell you much more about that other than that we just found those at the store. We bought 3 tubs of the goat cheese specifically. This is Vermont, from Vermont Creamery. And it's crumbled goat cheese. It's the classic version, and this is 4 ounces. So we had bought 3 of them, so we have a total of 12 ounces. I had never before this salad really cared for goat cheese that much. It is a little bit of a more of a tart or a just sour taste. It is very fine, so you don't want to have too much, but I have really come to enjoy goat cheese. Never really had it that much before this. Once we started having it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I don't know if it's just a combination of flavors. This is the main thing that I have goat cheese with, but it's great. It's honestly something that I'm really excited to share with y'all. Again, this dish, or this specific goat cheese and strawberry salad, we found it on the internet. I'll pop the link to it in the description for y'all to try it out if you want to try it out. It's great. I can't remember who made it exactly, but We've pretty much made it almost to a T exactly the way it is. It's a phenomenal salad. We'll end up having a little bit of red bell pepper as well. We'll just cut them long ways, have a little bit of there for a little bit of crunchy. And also we're gonna have some unsalted, so just completely naked raw pecans. Love these pecans to have in there. It's great to add a little body in there. But yeah, so that's our lunch for the whole week. We're gonna have a great time making these. It's not gonna take that long. The hardest part is probably making the dressing up front. And Libby will be the biggest proponent of that. I don't make the dressings quite as often as she does. She follows directions a lot better than I do. I like to just kind of throw stuff together. She really is by the book with the dressings. It's just kind of, her yin to my yang, but she makes a lot of the dressings. I'm very thankful for that. And the other hard part, obviously, is always making the chicken beforehand. This one, because it's just a dry rub seasoning, I'm not gonna be marinating anything overnight. It's literally gonna get put on a plate. I'm gonna throw the seasoning on, let it adhere, and then I'll throw it on the grill. And it's really quick and easy. So really excited for this one. I'm excited to share it with y'all. But yeah, strawberry and goat cheese salad. All right, I'll be back in just a second and I'll show you our dinner for the week too. All right, so let's go over dinner. So for this week, no shocker, but we're gonna have salmon again. This is Mediterranean herb salmon that we're gonna have as our protein for Monday night. For Tuesday and potentially Wednesday, we have flank steak here. This is about just under 1.5 pounds. We actually have some flank steak from last week that we ended up not completely eating. I think we have like 7 or 8 ounces. So that in combination with this will definitely round out for 2 days, most likely. So Tuesday, Wednesday is covered there with the flank steak. Oh, and for the flank steak, again, I'm gonna be using the Meat Church Blanco seasoning. Again, a great all-around seasoning that I really like to use. So for Thursday, we're gonna have steak. Again, shocker. This one's 14 ounces, and like I've said before, usually it reduces down to about 10 to 12 ounces from here. I'm thinking this one actually might reduce down closer to 8 or 9. If it does, then we might be heading back into the freezer and grabbing a little bit of protein that we've had left over before. So this is, I believe, a New York strip. So we'll have New York strip for dinner. Then for all of our sides, from Monday to Thursday, we're gonna have green beans, fresh green beans that we'll end up cutting up. We already have some in the fridge right now that are already cut up, so we didn't buy quite as much as we normally do. We bought about 2 pounds, and it ends up, again, reducing because I end up cutting off both ends. We have squash and zucchini as the other side. I like to say squash and zucchini as one specific side. They are very similar in flavor, but they're also a little bit different. So anyways, always consider this one side. So squash, zucchini, and green beans for dinner for Monday through Thursday. Actually, I think we might end up having enough for Friday also, but can't remember if we had something going on Friday, but we'll get there if we get there. And if we have some, we have plenty of sausage or protein in the freezer that we can pull out to have for dinner. Oh, and lastly, we have a sweet potato. This one is on the bigger side. If I were to guess, it doesn't say weight on here, but it's at least 1.5 pounds. So we might end up having some leftovers in the sweet potato realm as well. But yeah, that rounds it out for dinner. I'll be back in just a second to show y'all what kind of fruit we're working with for the week. All right, so the fruit for this week, we have a bunch of fruit, I'm not gonna lie. I am gonna be very impressed if we eat it all. And if we don't, it's okay, because usually what we like to do is try to eat the stuff that's gonna go bad the quickest, right? So we try to intentionally eat certain things at certain periods of time. So like watermelon, we're gonna cut this up today, but this is gonna be good for probably about 3 or 4 days, no matter what, once we cut it up. Libby picked it out, and again, I've told y'all before, previous episodes, she looks for the smallest little hole here, right there, if you can see. She looks for the smallest hole possible. I'm not gonna say what she calls it, but it's a very small hole that she looks for. She also likes to have kind of a yellow spot on it somewhere. I don't know what else she looks for, but I'll tell you this. She tells too many people at the store, and maybe I've told you all this before, but she's giving away trade secrets, and I feel like the last time we got a a watermelon. It wasn't as good, and I think it's because she's been telling too many people to store and everybody's been grabbing all the good watermelons. So anyways, on to the next fruit. We're gonna have 2 pounds of blueberries that we'll have throughout the week. We're gonna have, this is about 1.5 pounds of dark red cherries. I don't know what you would call these cherries. This says Hood River cherries, but I don't remember. I think it's Rainier cherries, and this is a different type of Rainier cherry. I really like both cherries. These have a much deeper sweet flavor. These have a much more mild, mellow flavor. I really enjoy both of them, and I actually like eating both of them together. They both will last longer through the week, so these will be eaten towards the end of the week. We bought them today on Sunday. They will make it all the way through the week, unless it's just a really bad batch. We still have some in the fridge from last week that we're about to finish today with our snack that we're gonna have here in a little bit. They're still good, they're great. So just letting you know, remember to try to think about when things are gonna be going bad and getting spoiled a little bit quicker so you can make sure to eat those items first. So we bought 4 yellow peaches, just regular yellow peaches again. We're in the thick of the summer. All these different fruits are all tasting so great. The strawberries, I didn't say it earlier, but the strawberries for the past 2 months have been tasting so sweet, it's great. We have yellow nectarines. We bought 4 of these bad boys also. And we bought 4 white flesh nectarines. So yellow flesh nectarines, white flesh nectarines. I bought white flesh nectarines because I don't know if I've even had these. I've had white peaches, which I actually like white peaches a little bit more than yellow. Don't tell anybody because I think Texas is really known for their yellow peaches, at least down in Central Texas where my mom's from. But yeah, I really like the white peaches. I think they're a little bit sweeter. We have been really liking, we've been having both black and red plums but the past few weeks. They've come into season and they're tasting so good. I think I bought 6 or 8 of these because they've been tasting great. Now again, I've told y'all before to expand your horizons. Go out and try different fruits that you haven't tried before. Part of the reason why I've been saying that is because when you start eliminating different things like refined sugars, your body's wanting to just get something a little sweeter in there. And what I have found personally, because I felt like I had a sweet tooth, I still kind of have a sweet tooth, but I feel a lot better about what I'm eating here. These are all a lot better for you than having a Snickers, Butterfingers, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. These are a lot better. So I haven't ever had these before. These are sugar plum prunes. I don't know if there's a difference between just sugar plums and sugar plum prunes. Not really sure. I'm assuming there is. But I saw these. I asked Libby if we could try a couple of them. She said yes, so we got a couple of these. I mean, we bought 4 of these and it was like 75 cents. But I'm excited to try them and let y'all know how they taste. They may or may not be good. I'm not really sure. I'll let you know. Maybe I'll tell you right here if they're good or not. And but yeah, so those are all the fruits that we're gonna have for the week. We do still, like I said, have a little bit of cherries that we're gonna end up eating today. We do have a little bit of pineapple from last week that we're gonna eat today or tomorrow also. So we are potentially gonna have a little bit of excess towards the end of the week, but I'm definitely gonna be doing my part to trying to have as much as possible. I will say that, you know, you could have fruit morning, noon, in the evening, whenever. Obviously, it's great for you, has great fiber, has great antioxidants. It's better for your sugar regulation rather than refined sugars. It keeps you a whole lot more balanced and more full. So I've been having a couple days where I've been kind of hungry in the morning. And when I say in the morning, it starts hitting me around 10 a.m. What I've done, and I've told y'all in previous videos that I like Good Culture cottage cheese. This is 4% milk fat. Obviously there's 2, there's 0. This one's 4. I don't know what the difference is between all of them. I'm not a scientist. I just think it probably has a little more fat in it, which is not always the best, not always the worst. I just think that I like the flavor of this one. I'll probably try 2% next, and then probably try 0% after that, and I'll give you my total recommendation on which one. However, this one tastes great, and having some peaches with this in the morning, great. Great little morning snack, whether it's actually your breakfast or if it's just a morning snack, it's great. I normally don't eat until lunch, period. Again, I've been kind of training And my training style, sometimes I start ramping up and I start getting these hunger pangs. So I listen to my body and I go ahead and feed it. And what I try to feed is something good. And I think this is pretty good. So I'll try to get something on what the exact caloric intake is and maybe the ramifications on the macros level. So yeah, but I'll be back in just a second. Okay. All right, so again, Sunday is a day for us to make sourdough. Libby made this sourdough bread, as you can see. It looks pretty great, I'm not gonna lie. And it smells quite amazing. I'm really excited for it. As you can see right next to the sourdough, we have more sourdough starter. Now it has more than doubled. If you can see, it's well more than double. This is the one that I made this morning. Libby started making this yesterday. Usually it can be a one-day process the way Libby makes it, but you have to start pretty early in the morning or else you can be up kind of late in the night before it's really ready to go. But we are going to be making double chocolate chip sourdough for the first time. And I was the big pusher for this one, so we're gonna see how it goes. I just kind of wanted to let y'all know this is the sourdough starter for that. I'll try to see if I can make a picture here in a second, like right there, of that chocolate sourdough bread, and I'll let y'all know how it tastes. I'm super excited. Again, this is just regular sourdough, and it's the best. But yeah, if you haven't ever tried making it, it's really not that hard. All right, guys, lastly, the last thing I want to cover here is two things. I have two things in front of me here. I have a water bottle and I have a scale. I've told y'all before in the past about the importance of knowing how much or how too much you're consuming. We have a scale that I bought this scale back in like 12 years ago. It still works fine. It's a digital scale. It works for both in grams and ounces. Like I was telling y'all earlier in the video, we shoot for 10 total ounces between the two of us, 6 for me, 4 for her, for our protein, for our lunch and for our dinner. We first started this as an accountability tool to make sure we're not having too much. And what I found through time is that it's still an accountability tool to ensure that we're not having too little protein, because I can look at it and for the most part, I can eyeball it. But even when I eyeball it, I'll still check it on the scale and I'm always off by a little bit. I'm either too high or too low. Your eyes can be deceiving. And so I encourage everybody to get a food scale, to at least start off the process of understanding your quantity and portion size. It's for portion regulation, but it's also for portion accountability and making sure you're having enough of something. When you look at 7 or 8 ounces of vegetables, you'll be surprised by how much it could potentially take up a plate. When we first started this, I was mind blown by how few vegetables I was actually consuming in a dinner. I was mind blown by how few, how small protein really looks on the plate. So it's just one of those things that I highly suggest everybody to get at scale. It doesn't have to be digital, it can be analog, whatever. But I really do encourage everybody to get that so they can understand their portion sizes. Another thing, I feel like most people aren't hydrated enough on just straight up water. I have this bottle right here. This is a 25 ounce bottle. I have another one that's a 35 ounce bottle. I have another one that's a 50 ounce bottle. I rotate between those 3 throughout the week. I have these and I know the exact amounts and I fill them all the way up. And whenever it's done, I know I've had one, so I know I've had 25 ounces from this one, right? Today I've already had 100 ounces of this. It's 4:30. I know that I'm always shooting for somewhere between 120 to 160 ounces of water, depending on the amount that I work out in the day. So all that being said, 2 things that I feel like are integral. 1, this food scale. 2, water tracking. So just, if you can try to just start working on picking a number for how many ounces you need to be drinking a day. There's a lot of different resources on what number you should have. It's one of those things that I think it needs to be tailored to a specific person, but find that number and shoot for it. Know that you're probably not gonna get there very quickly. And just like everything else, you have to put in the reps to increasing the amount that you can have per week. But I highly suggest you to get a bottle that you know how many ounces it is. not about how many ounces, the exact amount. So again, food scale, water bottle. That's it. All right, guys. Well, hey, y'all have a great week. And like, comment, subscribe. Send me an email, shoot me a DM. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, anything else y'all want me to go over. I'd be happy to. All right, y'all have a great day.